Hi, it's Nicole Moore here with another Flirty Friday video. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below to make sure you never miss a video. Today's topic is how do you get a man who really, truly cares for you and loves you? And it's inspired by my real life. So this week, Mike, my husband, had very serious dental surgery. So he was pretty much laid out. He couldn't do anything but ice his face, and I was taking care of him a lot, bringing him ice cream and doing lots of things, and that meant I had to take care of my son Luke even more than I normally do because Mike is a very hands-on dad. So I had a lot of stuff going on, and Mike noticed that, and he felt bad. And the reason he felt bad is because he said, Nicole, I feel like it's my job to care for you, and I can't do that right now. And I said, it's totally okay, Mike, like you always are doing so much for me and Luke, and for a week I might have to take care of you. And he said, well, it should just be one day. He really was feeling like his job is to take care of me and protect me and serve me and love me. And he felt bad that he couldn't do it even for just one day. And for me, that was a victory because I wasn't always in a relationship with a man who cared so much about me. So how did I get here? There are 4 steps that I took, and I'm going to share them with you to help you get that kind of man too. So the first step is I had to heal it. And what do I mean by that? I didn't experience this level of care and devotion in my childhood, and I didn't experience it in a lot of relationships. So I kind of had this feeling that I wasn't really worthy of care. I didn't get that as a child. And so I saw it in lots of areas of my life. I wouldn't do a lot of self-care. Sometimes I kept my house really messy. There was evidence of not caring for myself all around my world. And of course I saw that in romantic relationships. And I always felt like the men I was with didn't care about me when I was trying to get them to shift to prove it. But I realized I had to care for me. I had to give myself that level of love and devotion. So I started self-care practices. And one that I'm going to share with you, it's really, really, really simple because sometimes we make self-care so complicated. But I just would every single day check in, put my hand over my heart and ask myself, how are you feeling? What do you need? Or I would write that in a journal. How are you feeling? What do you need? And I kept checking in with myself daily. And just that small act made me feel like I actually cared about myself. I realized before doing that, I wasn't checking in with myself. I wasn't caring for myself. So step 1, it's really simple. Actually show yourself that you care about yourself. And then step 2, I had to ask for it. What do I mean by that? Well, because I wasn't used to caring for myself, because I wasn't used to feeling care in romantic relationships, I really didn't know what I was looking for. I just had this feeling of missing something. I know I'm not feeling cared for, but I didn't even know what that actually meant. So the next step is you sit down and you journal your desires. How do you want to be cared for? What would make you feel really cared for? So I wrote down everything that I wanted. I wanted to be treated like a queen. I wanted to be worshipped like a goddess. I even got really specific too. I want a man who, when I cook, which is me showing care, I want him to offer to do the dishes and do that for me because I hate doing dishes. And guess what? Mike does that. So your next step is actually first getting real with yourself and asking for it. Universe, this is what I desire. I desire a man who cares for me in these ways. If you're with a man, you can start asking for that too. But if you're not with a man, you write it down as a way of saying, this is what I want, this is what I'm worthy of, these are the experiences I'm available for. And then the next step is you start looking for it. And there's a lot of ways to look for it, but the first one is look for examples of men really caring for women. We're bombarded with examples daily, right? There's so much in the media right now of men not caring for women at all. And so that can get into your psyche. It can stop you from believing it's possible for you. It can stop you from believing that men even care about women in the first place. And there are so many men who do. So look for examples. You can use me as one, but there's tons of examples of men who are really doing, caring, loving things for women. So start to saturate yourself with that daily. And then the second part of looking for it is look for it in the man. So a man's going to show you when you first meet him and through his actions if he actually has that quality of really caring. Some people have that quality of being a caring individual, and some people don't really show up with that. So for example, when I first met Mike, he was a caretaker for his dad, who was in an assisted living home. And he also told me that when his sister was dying, he actually, he took a leave of absence from his job and he flew to where she was living to be her caretaker until she died. So can you see how he was already bringing a level of showing he can care for people. You know, my client Alexis, her man, when they first started dating, he stocked his house with gluten-free food because he heard she was gluten-free from her. Like, that is care and devotion. So look for that already in the man if he's bringing that, because if he already has that, you can show up in a very feminine, powerful, beautiful way to amplify that quality within him. So look for the examples and then look for it in the man to see if the quality is there or not, because if it's there, it's easy to amplify it. If he's not caring from the get-go, it's a little bit more difficult. And then the next step is appreciate it. So when a man does care for you, appreciate it, from the small things to the big things. So I'm always thanking Mike all the time, but even yesterday, you know, my dad's staying here with my stepmom, so, you know, things in my house, we had to move things all around, and I'm always leaving my chargers with me everywhere I go, and he knows that about me, that I'm always like, oh my God, my phone's losing charge, right? And so he took the chargers from the one room where all my stuff was, and he put them in the room where I was going to be, you know, sleeping with him that night, and he put the chargers in the wall. And it sounds like something so simple, but most people would just like take the stuff from the bed, put it on top of the other bed. They wouldn't take the time to put the chargers actually in the wall. And I noticed that. And I appreciated that, and I said, I'm so grateful that you did this, it's so considerate. And he said, of course I did, baby. I know you're always in a battle with charge, and I want you to win. Like, that is just a level of care, devotion, and thought, right? So when you see it, when a man is doing that, appreciate it in him, because that's going to make him want to do it more. So I want you to know that it's possible for you to be truly, 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 truly deeply cared for. And in fact, that is exactly what you deserve. So if you don't have it right now, start just dreaming about what that would feel like, because I can tell you, I wouldn't have believed it in the past, that I could be this loved and this cared for. But if it is possible for me, I promise you it's possible for you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a very flirty Friday.